DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, and today we're going to have a great show. I have a guest, Dr. Joan Howard. She's from Iowa State University's Lloyd Veterinary Teaching Hospital, where she is an equine ambulatory veterinarian, and we're going to talk about some of the things you can do to plan for the health and welfare of your horses.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Welcome back to Doc Talk, and here we are on WebEx with Dr. Joan Howard. And how are you today, Dr. Howard?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. It's a pleasure to highlight some of the great people that are doing great things here at Iowa State University. And folks, Dr. Howard is a equine veterinarian. She is on the faculty at the Veterinary College here at Iowa State University, where, you know, you're on call and seeing horses all around the area, aren't you?
Yeah, we cover emergencies 7 days a week, 24 hours, and then we see routine calls during the week and take students out when things are normal. We take students out with us to see cases so they can kind of learn a little bit about kind of typical things you might see in equine practice.
Yeah, well, it's a great service, and Iowa State is so fortunate to have Dr. Howard here to be able to teach, and the people around the Ames area and beyond are very lucky to have her as a clinician here to take care of their horses. But what we're going to talk a little bit about today, we have a lot of people that own horses for different reasons. They might just have them to get rid of some grass. They might have them for fun. And we have a lot of people that use them, for their way of life. And so just wanted to kind of have a discussion with you today, Dr. Howard, about different things that they can do to kind of like, doing general maintenance on your car, to make sure that they're running properly and that we don't miss a beat. So you tell me where you want to start.
Well, I think it's springtime, right? So it's a good time to start in the spring. So it's a good time in the spring to get your horses vaccinated. And sometimes it might be tempting to go to the feed store and get your vaccines there. But you get some benefits by having a veterinarian come out and do the vaccines with you. First of all, the veterinarian is going to lay eyes on the animal. We're going to do a physical examination, and it's really very common that we'll find other things that you just might not be. You're looking at the horse every day that maybe you might not notice. Maybe the horse has gotten a little heavy. Maybe there's concerns there might be an endocrine problem, or it could be a metabolic problem. So this time of year is a good time to start to have your veterinarian out to do an examination and make sure you see what vaccinations you should do for this year and get those going. And to it's a good time to plan the year, I think, too. Things like parasite control programs to kind of say, what should we do? Kind of our way of approaching parasite control changes a lot, and it has changed since I've been in practice. So it's good to kind of catch up on things like that. So maybe we shouldn't be giving dewormers every 2 months. Maybe we should be doing fecal egg counts and treating according to how heavy these animals are shedding. So start with spring, a good time to touch bases. It's usually when people are going to be more active with their horses. They're going to be going out and it's nicer weather. So if you're a pleasure rider, you're going to be going out on trail riding. You're more likely to be using your animal this time of year. And if you're doing performance type work, there's going to be typically more going on in the spring and in the summer than there will be throughout the winter. So we touch bases now and get our vaccinations and such going.
Well, I think we're off and running on a great start here with Dr. Joan Howard from Iowa State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. We're going to take a break for messages, and we'll be back with DocTalk here in just a moment.
Kansas Farm Bureau has served farm families and rural Kansas for more than 100 years, and we're pleased to offer new healthcare coverage choices for Kansans in 2020 through Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. No matter what stage of life you're in, we'll have options that fit your lifestyle. Plus, our network of providers is one of the largest available throughout the state of Kansas and beyond. For more information, including the different plans available, or to get a quote, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com. This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
And we're here with Dr. Joan Howard, and she is the equine field clinician at Iowa State's Lloyd's Veterinary Teaching Hospital at the College of Veterinary Medicine here at Iowa State University. And it's a pleasure to have her on the show. She does so much with equine medicine and sees so many horses, teaches so many students, and just thanks for taking the time. I know this is not easy doing this on the WebEx, but it's kind of our life right now. Dr. Howard, when you come out to the farm, and we're talking about having a veterinarian on the farm, kind of talk me through what you're going to do from head to toe on that annual evaluation or looking at that horse.
So we're going to drive into the farm and catch up usually on the year, or if it's been a year or the last 6 months of what's been happening with your horse, any concerns you've had or any changes that you've noticed. So we'll talk about those things. A lot of times we'll talk about feeding too. I mean, it is one of the more challenging aspects of horse ownership is finding the right forage and the right concentrate. So a lot of times we'll review those things, especially if we have a horse that isn't maintaining the condition that we'd like for it to maintain, or sometimes on the other end, they're maintaining too much condition. So we'll a lot of times talk about those things. We'll do a thorough examination of the horse. So we're going to evaluate, again, is the horse's condition good? Is the horse as bright and alert and happy as it usually is, so aware of its environment? We will listen to the heart, make sure that sounds good. I like to check the horses, do a brief ocular examination, because sometimes you can have some degenerative changes and it's hard to notice without having the right tools. So I like to take a look at the eyes, the skin, make sure there's any skin tumors. There's certain breeds of horses that are predisposed to different types of skin masses. So we'll take a look at those. We will do a brief check of the teeth. It's really good to get your horse's teeth floated once a year, but we'll kind of look and see how they're doing and see if we see any obvious problems. Of course, better exam is when you sedate the horse, put a full mouth speculum in. We will make sure they're moving comfortably, no signs of musculoskeletal things that have changed. And then when we've done the exam and discuss with you, with the owner, anything that we might be concerned about and any options we have, things we should consider, further diagnostics or treatments of any concerns. Then we will decide what vaccinations we're going to do, see how much you're traveling. If you are staying at home, so would we just need to do 4 vaccinations that cover things that you might be exposed to when the horses and a horse might be exposed in their environment, or are they potentially going to be exposed to other problems if they're traveling, or are there going to be other diseases that aren't our typical ones that we might need to consider? So, so that's kind of our visit.
Well, it's a lot, and I think that it's important for people to understand that things that we walk by every day are something that is going to flag very quickly for you, and that's the importance of having you out there, having you do this thorough exam, so that we catch that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss more about annual equine maintenance and taking care of your horse with Dr. Joan Howard.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Welcome to Cattle First, as sponsored by Beringer Ingelheim Vet Medica. And the term today, biosecurity. Biosecurity is security. It's like having a bouncer that keeps pathogens out and keeps disease out of your herd. One of the best tools you can use for biosecurity is a proper vaccination program, and work with your veterinarian on that. The second one is introduction of new animals. And when we bring new animals on the farm, making sure that if there's a disease that is important that we test for, that we have that done prior to bringing them on the premise. And if they haven't been, then we have a place to quarantine them until we can get the diagnostics back, I think is vitally important. Talking to your neighbors as cattle lean across the fence and communicate with each other, making sure that you have a community-wide biosecurity plan and vaccination plan, vitally important. Keep the disease out, be the bouncer.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here at Iowa State University with Dr. Joan Howard, who is the equine field clinician at Iowa State's Veterinary Teaching Hospital at the College of Veterinary Medicine here in Ames, Iowa, where she sees lots and lots of horses. And I have to commend you, because back when I was in veterinary school, we didn't have an equine field service. And it's so refreshing to have people that are out there that are doing the day-to-day things, because as we get out of vet school, that's what we're going to see. And so it's great to have you here. Great to have you take time from your field service to be on the show. But let's talk a little bit about dentistry.
Okay. Well, I love dentistry. When I was in school, we didn't really have any. We had an equine field service, but we didn't really have any dentistry taught. I think the only thing we did was we had a kind of half-broke 3-year-old, and one of the residents took us out and said, "Why don't we try floating the teeth?" And no sedation. This horse's head was way up here, and I couldn't touch it. And I thought, well, this looks terrible. But when I was in practice, I became more and more frustrated, because I see a lot of horses that would have serious dental issues, and owners didn't have many options as far as how to address those issues. So the horse's mouth is kind of interesting. Horses are hypsodonts, so unlike us, they have as much dentition as they're going to have, as much reserve crown by the time they're about 5 or 6. But they continually erupt those teeth. And as that happens, if there's changes, like if they fracture part of a tooth on one side, the opposite arcade is going to continue to erupt and cause malocclusions, which can be really uncomfortable for the horse, can cause abrasions in the mouth, and can also make it difficult for them to chew their food properly. So that's kind of the nature of dentistry. I find it particularly rewarding also because it's one of those things that the owner can't see. And there's a lot of problems. Owners are great. They understand, they know the horses. So there's a lot of things they're going to see. They're going to see the swelling on the horse's neck, or they're going to see a change in the horse's gait. But they can't really see into the mouth. It's a small opening. It's not like a dog mouth we can really open and visualize, but you need some sedation and some special tools to get a good look. So dentistry is rewarding that way. And it takes a little bit more effort on our part. We have to have special equipment to get in there. But once we find a problem, then we can try to address the problem. One of the difficulties with horses is that they are really stoic. And they can have horrible changes going on in their mouth, and you may not know just on how your horse is behaving and how they're eating. So a lot of times people will say, well, we don't really need to do a dental because the horse seems to be fine and eating okay, or they're fine with the form, but that doesn't mean there isn't pathology in the mouth that could be made better with a good examination and some targeted treatment. So dentistry is an important part for the horse's maintenance and also for performance. If their mouth is comfortable when we're putting a bit in their mouth and asking them to move in certain ways or do performance type things. So that's kind of particularly rewarding. Your older horses too, you have to be careful. Horses only have so much occlusal enamel. So when their teeth wear to a certain point, the surface of the teeth will be smooth. So that makes it difficult for them to utilize forages that a younger horse can do with no problem. So that's a pretty common discussion we'll have on our annual examinations or annual dentals is this horse okay on what we're doing with it? Do we need to add something different?
That's excellent information. And, I just think that people need to understand that look for broken teeth, because it may be not a big problem today, but as the mouth continues to grow and the teeth continue to grow on one side versus the other, it could be a big problem.
Right.
Well, let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to do a wrap up with Dr. Joan Howard here at Iowa State University.
Kansans have a new choice for Medicare supplement insurance plans. With Medicare supplement insurance plans from Kansas Farm Bureau, you have access to 4 levels of coverage, affordable rates, and service from an organization that served Kansans for more than 100 years. For more information on Kansas Farm Bureau Medicare supplement plans, including rates and to apply, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Joan Howard, and we're at Iowa State University, or kinda. We're on WebEx, and we're dealing with coronavirus. But Dr. Howard, kind of talk me through the vaccines that we're doing now, and what are some of the core versus additional vaccines.
AAP, American Association of Equine Practitioners, has put together some really nice documents. If you want to do some reading, you can find those online also to kind of review some of this. But sometimes I will find people that are like, well, my horse doesn't go anywhere, it's just in the backyard, so I don't really need to get him vaccinated. And that's not true. There are vaccinations that we can divide our vaccines into core and then more elective vaccines. So our core vaccines are vaccinations that all horses really in the States should be getting every year. Some of those vaccinations are really deadly diseases, and the vaccines are great. So it's a shame when we don't address those. Sometimes you'd be surprised, some pretty nice horses that people don't get around to actually doing something as basic as the vaccines. So encephalitides, the Eastern and Western encephalitis, those are important to do. I used to live in New Jersey, and we would see horses die every year of Eastern encephalitis. So again, which is terrible. So administering that, you want to start with that vaccine before mosquito seasons. That's kind of probably why one of the reasons kind of think spring shots, that one really needs to be, it's better to administer that before we have a lot of mosquitoes in the environment. So that's usually going to be once a year unless you have a horse more at risk in an area, if you're in a warmer environment, that you might have mosquitoes for a longer time period during the year. For our tetanus, there's definitely tetanus, and the horses are sensitive to tetanus, and it's in the environment all around them. So we need to be vaccinating for that at least once a year. If you have a wound, that wound can make a horse susceptible to tetanus. So kind of recommend to boost with, if it's been more than 6 months since your tetanus toxoid, to vaccinate, reboost with that. One of our other cores is West Nile. That wasn't a thing until I think about 2000, and then it came on through like wildfire. So we'll see some cases in horses who aren't vaccinated. So it's a good vaccine. So that wants to be in the spring before our mosquitoes start. Our rabies vaccination, I just had a conversation with someone the other day saying, well, rabies vaccine's not really that important, but it is really important. It's a great vaccine. It will kill your horse if they get it. And horses in this area of the country were more susceptible to skunks. So horses, what do? If they see something out in the pasture that they don't know what it is, they go up, they touch it with their face and get bit in the face, and can be very at risk for it. So good vaccine once a year, important to do. So that's kind of our core vaccines. There are a lot of electives, and again, a good reason to have a veterinarian to go through this with you to decide which of the electives might be a good choice for you and your horse. We will do a lot of influenza, rhinopneumonitis for those horses that are in boarding stables and they're susceptible to these diseases, or they're traveling and doing showing. So there are infectious, contagious diseases, which we're thinking about a lot about right now, that we can a lot of times avoid with a simple vaccine. We've had some outbreaks of influenza in some of our local barns, and it is always the horses that are not vaccinated that really get sick. So it's barn managers learn to make sure that everybody is up to date on their vaccines to kind of prevent big problems from going through the whole herd.
Any other comments or wrap up as we close down the show, Dr. Howard?
I think everybody just hold tight and take care of, I think, your horses. I have found a lot of clients right now that the horses are just an important kind of mental break for them. So they feel that their veterinary care is even more important than usual. So take the time to talk to your veterinarian about any concerns you have. Your veterinarian, your farrier, feet are an important part of the care. So just keep up with that routine preventive health care, and hopefully that can keep us from bigger problems down the line. So.
Well, thanks for being with us, folks. Thanks for watching the show. With Dr. Joan Howard, I'm Dr. Dan Thomson. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian. And if you want to know more about what we do here at DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson with Dr. Joan Howard, and we'll see you down the road.
DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.